Hi guys, Iron Cameraman here. It's no secret that in part 2 of episode 79, an important character is going to die. A lot of people, after seeing the spoilers, might think it's going to be either Camerawoman or Polyphile TV Man. But is that really the case? You might think this is impossible to answer since Boom hasn't said anything outright, but actually that's not true. With a little logic and a few hints, which I'll get to in a moment, it's pretty easy to figure out that it won't be either of them, but someone else entirely. And of course, when thinking about this, we shouldn't forget that a red screen acts as a self-destruct signal. Makes me wish my iron suit had magical screens that could hypnotize people with their glow, but I guess I don't need that, since you're already going to hit the like button and are subscribed to my channel, right? If not, go ahead and subscribe. We're already at 700,000 and only 30% away from 1 million. Thanks in advance. Now let's start. As usual, EBO kicked things off by asking about the release date for part 2 of episode 79. Boom said he wasn't sure if he'd make it by mid-August. There's just one last scene left. Earlier, he estimated the length of the episode at around 6 minutes, so don't expect it to drop on the 16th or 17th. If the most time-consuming part, the effects, are already done, we might see it on the 23rd to 24th. Otherwise, it'll probably be the end of the month. It's also possible the delay is because the runtime got bumped up to over 8 minutes, which has happened before, or because of complex fight scenes we know about from the spoilers. Now let's actually get into those spoilers. There are 7 in total, and they contain a few hidden messages. The first one has a nuance. You can mean either you singular or you plural. So it's hard to tell if the threat is aimed at everyone still left on the Cameraman base or just at the Watchmen of Doom. But given Boom's answer about an important character dying in episode 79, it seems more like it's directed at one specific person rather than everyone on the base. Who could that be? The Duchess is out. She hasn't been developed as a character or shown fighting yet. The Watchmen of Doom? Also unlikely, since his rescue attempts, including a clash with Titan Speakerman 3.0, are far more interesting. Plus, why would Boom show EBO his redesign if they were just going to kill him off? That pretty clearly means Boom has bigger, long-term plans for the Watchmen of Doom, which leaves us with characters on the base. The spoilers point to 2 possibilities: Camerawoman or Polyphile TV Man. Camerawoman is clearly under the red radiation from the Watchmen of Doom, since her own weapons are aimed at her head. Could she really go out like that? I doubt it. Boom has already used this kind of setup before, like when Titan Cameraman nearly took himself out. Could she be saved? Definitely. There are 2 likely candidates for that. The first is the speaker operator from part 1, who was right next to her when the red radiation hit. We've seen a rescue like that before when Dark Speaker Man saved Plunger Man. The second candidate is a TV man. Whether Polyphile or the one with the scarf isn't clear, but both are in the spoilers. The death of Polyphile TV Man also feels unlikely. His massive size makes him extra durable, and you can't just judge his fate by his injuries. Titan TV Man took even worse damage and survived. Plus, he can just teleport out if his life's in danger. Last time, the more likely candidate for being taken out was the cameraman scientist piloting the Strider camera. He's an important character, and the Duchess could take both him and Camerawoman down without breaking a sweat, especially since we know she enjoys it, given how she tore the limbs off the operator in episode 76 and left them to die. The second hidden message is on the spoiler with Polyphile TV Man and says, "Nothing ever goes according to plan." You could try linking it to the first one. If so, maybe it means the plan for TV men and cameramen to evacuate the base before the Astro attack failed. But we already know that from part 1, so it probably refers to another plan. Is it connected to some new plan by Polyphile? Unlikely. He's got nothing to counter the Duchess, the Watchmen of Doom, and the big Astros. The most he could do is teleport survivors out, which makes me think that's exactly when he got injured, saving allies under heavy fire. Or maybe the Watchmen of Doom hit him after switching from red to violet radiation, and the cameramen nearly killed their own rescuer. The plan might also be the Astros. We've already seen 2 of their plans succeed. First, the attempt to destroy the Titans at the start of the invasion, and second, wiping out the TV men's base and taking their Titan under control. Obviously, the Astros wouldn't attack an entire cameraman base without knowing exactly how to do it. I've said before that the mothership didn't come to destroy it outright. probably because they wanted to test the Watchmen of Doom in battle, including the upgraded screens whose radiation, according to Boom, can go through Cameraman protective lenses. The fact that the Watchmen of Doom is already heavily damaged, and that the Duchess herself had to step into the fight, could mean the Astro's plan for an easy capture or destruction of the base failed. They've underestimated the Alliance before, like when they failed to kill the Titans, including Titan Cameraman, because they sent a weak group after him, and then the upgraded speaker armada hit back. I also have a theory on how this attack could backfire on the Astros. The clue is in the spoiler showing the Duchess on the rooftop, specifically her core. Normally it only glows red, as we clearly saw in Part 1, but this time, blue Cameraman energy is radiating around the edges, and the center is white, even though the energy beam attack is aimed somewhere else. You might think she's charging up her core for an attack, but then the beam's energy color would also be red, not white. Plus, no other character, including the Watchmen of Doom, has ever had their core's color change before firing. So I've got one logical explanation. The Duchess's core polarity is being switched from red to blue by two emitters on either side. Since her body is mechanical, the cameramen could take control of it simply by changing her energy polarity to one they can control, just like the Astros did with Titan TV Man, or the skibidi toilets did with Speakerman Titan, whose core color was changed from red to yellow. The only thing that makes me doubt it is that we see the emitters still on even without the Duchess in another spoiler, but that's easy to explain. First, who said the spoilers are in chronological order? She could have left the rooftop by the time we see everything burning, and the emitters wouldn't shut off right away. Or the opposite, they could be fully activated and just waiting to lure her into position. That's exactly when a combat unit could attack her with an energy beam. But who or what could that be? It's unlikely Titan Cameraman would show up this early and out of nowhere. We've seen a similar attack from the base's turrets, but those should have been destroyed by the Watchmen of Doom and the Astros at the end of Part 1 or the start of Part 2. That leaves the orbital camera. Even though it used a different attack during the counteroffensive, I doubt it's lost its original weapon from version 1.0. But then why isn't the Duchess defending herself with an energy shield? Her red eyes suggest she's about to fire lasers, but lasers wouldn't get past an energy shield, which explains why it's not up. So maybe the hidden message is about the plan to capture the Duchess, and maybe that's the plan that fails. But if it succeeds, the cameramen would even the score with the Astros. They'd have the Duchess, and the Astros would have Titan TV Man. Now that would be a twist. But why is the Duchess fighting at all, when in Part 1 she just stayed back? I've already had some theories about that, and I'll repeat them for anyone who missed it. First, her interference could have disrupted the Watchmen of Doom and the new screen's combat test. Second, he could have taken critical damage, and by the start of Part 1 he was already badly weakened. Maybe even his screens were destroyed, since we don't see any red radiation in the spoilers except for one shot with him. That's probably from the very start of Part 2, since that's exactly where Part 1 ended. This would also explain why the Duchess took off her protective glasses and why the Astros carrying the screens are attacking. The third hidden message says, "My fault, always my fault." If Camerawoman is under the red radiation, as I think, then maybe this is a result of it. Plunger Man, when under its influence, saw a similar message, "End yourself." That highlights the main difference between violet and red radiation. An order to self-terminate under violet can't be carried out because the agent's human self-preservation instinct is stronger than the command. Red radiation, though, directly affects the mind, making the target genuinely believe they want to die, using their own vulnerabilities against them. It could also hint at a second meaning: Camerawoman's guilt over not saving Plungerman and other comrades, or even over the so-called main experiment going wrong. Now for the remaining details. Since the Cameraman base's windows are almost triangular, it's unlikely large Cameraman is looking through their now rectangular wreckage. It's more likely the cockpit window of the Cameraman scientist's control seat. That would mean he detached from the Strider, maybe ejecting after the Duchess's attack, since we see large Cameraman leaning down to look inside. If so, then the Strider itself isn't there anymore, but it could still be some other piece of base wreckage. We can also see that Hunter has already regrown his right arm, which he lost in the fight with the Executioner. That shows the mothership is giving the Astros incredible support. If that's the case, then Scorpion should have been repaired long ago. So he's probably undergoing a full upgrade, which takes longer than a standard repair. Hunter's presence, along with the Astros to his right, means reinforcements are coming to the Duchess in Part 2. Either the cameramen and allies put up so much of a fight that they need backup, or the Astros just decided to be cautious and send every available unit to the base. If it's the latter, then we should also see Juggernaut, the UFO, and the mothership. So it's hard to say why the small Astros are needed, but their arrival hints at an upcoming battle against similar-sized Alliance agents and skibidi toilets. It's even possible that Polyphile TV Man gets his injuries from Hunter. That's all for the spoilers, but another theory video is coming soon, so subscribe so you don't miss it. See you next time.